Welcome to the Soldier Athlete Farmer podcast. I'm Jeff Strong, and this is a podcast for men who want to grow strong in body, mind, and spirit. We take Paul's metaphors in 2 Timothy 2 as a lens for connecting discipleship with life-giving masculinity. A soldier knows that there are moments when a tactical retreat isn't actually cowardice, it's an expression of wisdom. When they find themselves in situations where the odds are stacked against them, where their resources are thinned or even they've run out, and the enemy has the upper hand, a wise soldier doesn't charge in recklessly. He doesn't pull a Rambo and try and defeat insurmountable odds. He pulls back, but this isn't because he's surrendering. He's doing this to regroup so that he can fight another day. David in the Old Testament knew this dynamic well. Some days he would gain ground and have amazing victories. Obviously, his battle against Goliath comes to mind. But on other days, we find him running for his life. At one point, he finds himself in a cave. He's being hunted by the current king, King Saul, the very king that David had served with loyalty and honor. He had done nothing wrong, and yet David was forced into hiding. And it's there in this darkness of that cave that David prays, "Have mercy on me, my God, have mercy on me. For in you I take refuge. I will take refuge in the shadow of your wings until the disaster has passed." That's Psalm 57:1. That last line I think is especially important. I will take refuge in the shadow of your wings until the disaster has passed. We as men fight a real interior battle to accept the fact that we're not self-sufficient, that we need God's help, we need God's grace, we need his protection and his care. And at first, admitting that might feel soft. It might even feel overly feminine to say, well, I need God's shelter, I need his care, I need his protection. But when you look at David, he was both a warrior who stood up to Goliath and the fugitive who sought shelter when Saul was too strong. And so there are times where strength in God, yes, it looks like courage, but there are other times where strength in God looks like dependence and a seeking of a place of refuge because we can't handle what we are facing. Maybe this is where you feel like you are right now. Maybe there's a disaster in your life that, the different ways it could show up, right? It could be pressure at school, failure at work, silent grind of just trying to manage depression or anxiety or a sense of purposelessness or a lack of direction. Maybe it's a marriage that feels strained, just hopelessness that creeps in as you find yourself worn out from an accumulation of life's pressures and demands. And David knows that feeling. And David teaches us in this psalm that there's nothing shameful about retreating into God's care. It's actually necessary. It's a tactical retreat. My default personally is to see every challenge as an opportunity to overcome with God's help. But I've had to learn, and sometimes really painfully, that not every battle is mine to win. Not every battle is even mine to fight. For years, I resisted the idea of retreat. I thought I had to grind harder. I thought I had to push longer. I thought that's what resilience and spiritual resilience looked like. That I would find a way to muscle my way through whatever challenges came at me. But eventually God brought me to the end of myself, or allowed me to come to the end of myself. And I discovered that sometimes the most masculine, courageous thing you can do is to stop pretending you're invincible and admit that you need shelter. You need a place of refuge. You need a place to find protection until the disaster passes. And that means you shouldn't expect to slay every giant, and you shouldn't expect to slay every battle or win every battle. Sometimes the holiest, wisest, most mature thing you can do is to retreat, to let God provide breathing room, and then we use that to recuperate. That isn't weakness, that's wisdom, that's actually faith. That's part of what it means to trust God. So let me ask, where do you need to stop pushing, stop grinding, stop trying to power through, and maybe start sheltering? And what would that look like for you? Right? Where's God inviting you to trust him? Not by charging forward, but by falling back under his wings of protection. Maybe today you just want to think about taking one area where you feel hunted down like David did, or pressured, or worn out. And just give yourself permission, and hear this as permission, to say, for the next week, for the next month, for the next season of my life, I'm going to stop trying to figure this out. I'm going to stop fighting this battle, not because I'm giving up, but I'm going to see what happens when I just retreat into God and ask him to protect and to provide for me. I want to experience some of that breathing room that allows me to recuperate body, mind, and spirit. Pray along with David. I will take refuge in the shadow of your wings until the disaster has passed.